Yaśodā Madhava Kunja Bihari Yaśodā Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Dana Vallabha Girivara Dhare Jaya Gopi Dana Vallabha Girivara Dhare Yaśodā Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yaśodā Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachare Yamuna Tiravanachare Yaśodā Madhava Kunja Bihari Yaśodā Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Statrishatra Śrīmad Swami Abhaya Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Agyantamirandasya Gyananjana Shalokaya Chakshuran Meditam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchakaupatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dashatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vatai Mahatpriya Mahapura Vibhur Nirmaikshati Yadmasha Purushabhum Tegunam Sudasha Sudasutmaka Ilang Krishishta Bhagavan Vacham Sime. Hare Krishna. So, begging the blessings from all the Vaishnavas, beginning with senior most ones, Prabhupada disciples, and praying that whatever I say would be in line with Krishna's standards of austerity of speech. Anudega karam vyakyam satyam priya hitam chayat swadhyaya vyasanam chaiva vanmaya tapauchyate. That whatever I say would be satyam, truthful, priyam, pleasing, and hitam, beneficial for everyone, beginning with myself, and swadhyaya vyasanam, fully in line with the authority of Srila Prabhupada's books. We'll be continue reading from the 10th canto, chapter 9, which is Mother Yaśoda binds Lord Krishna. And so So today we'll be reading text number 5. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tat aṅkam ārūḍham apāyayat stanaṁ. Tad aṅkam ārūḍham apāyayat stanaṁ. Snehasnutam sa smitam ikshati mukham. Snehasnutam sa smitam ikshati mukham. Atriptam utsija jabena sayaiva yayav. Atriptam utsrija jabena sayayav. Utsichyamane paryasi tvadishrite. Utsichyamane payasi tvadishrite. Tadaṅkam ārūḍham apāyayat stanaṁ. Snehasnutam sasmitam ikshati mukham. Atriptam utsija jabena sayayav. Utsichyamane payasi tvadishrite. Synonyms: tam unto Krishna, aṅkam ārūḍham, very affectionately allowing him to sit down on her lap. Apāyayat, allowed to drink. Stanaṁ, her breast. Snehasnutam, which was flowing with milk because of intense affection. Sasmitam ikshati mukham. Mother Yashoda was smiling and observing the smiling face of Krishna. Atriptam, Krishna, who was still not fully satisfied by drinking the milk. Utsrija, putting him aside. Jabena, very hastily. Sa, Mother Yashoda, Yayo, left that place. Utichyamani payasi, because of seeing that the milk was overflowing. Tu, but adishrite, in the milk pan on the oven. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Bhakti Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Mother Yashoda then embraced Krishna, allowed him to sit down on her lap, and began to look upon the face of the Lord with great love and affection. Because of her intense affection, milk was flowing from her breast. But when she saw that the milk pan on the oven was boiling over, she immediately left her son to take care of the overflowing milk, although the child was not yet fully satisfied with drinking the milk of his mother's breast. Purport: everything in the household affairs of Mother Yashoda was meant for Krishna. Although Krishna was drinking the breast milk of Mother Yashoda, when she saw that the milk pan in the kitchen was overflowing, She had to take care of it immediately, and thus she left her son, who then became very angry, not having been fully satisfied with drinking the milk of her breast. Sometimes one must take care of more than one item of important business for the same purpose. Therefore, Mother Yashoda was not unjust when she left her son to take care of the overflowing milk. On the platform of love and affection, it is the duty of the devotee to do one thing first and other things later. The proper intuition by which to do this is given by Krishna. Teṣāṁ satata-yuktānāṁ bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yanamam upayanti te. Bhagavad-gītā 10:10. In Krishna consciousness, everything is dynamic. Krishna guides the devotee in what to do first and what to do next on the platform of absolute truth. Tam aṅkam ārūḍham apāyayat stanaṁ sneha snutam sasmitam ikshati mukham atriptam utsrijya japena seyav utsichyamane payasit vadishite. Mother Yashoda then embraced Krishna, allowed him to sit down on her lap, and began to look upon the face of the Lord with great love and affection. Because of her intense affection, milk was flowing from her breast. But when she saw that the milk pan on the oven was boiling over, she immediately left her son to take care of the overflowing milk, although the child was not yet fully satisfied with drinking the milk of his mother's breast. By Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we are very fortunate because we are allowed to see what's going on in the kingdom of God. Actually, this information is not available anywhere except in scriptures like Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that Srila Prabhupada was saying, we know everything about God, we know how He looks like in details, we know what He is doing, we know the names of His parents and other family members, who His friends are, we know where He lives exactly, we know His home address, and he said we even know His phone number. And what's the phone number of Krishna? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so it's a great fortune to have this opportunity for developing personal relationship with Krishna and opportunity to understand the special features of his relationship with his mother in here, with Mother Yashoda. And this is really amazing pastime. One amazing thing about this pastime that it comes in between all these pastimes when Krishna is fighting the different demons. So we can really see the contrast, these horrible demons who actually hate Krishna to such an extent that they want to kill him, and love of Mother Yashoda, who loves him so dearly that, as Prabhupada said, she is ready to die 1,000 times over for every single hair falling off Krishna's head. And yeah, the contrast really helps us to understand two things: what we should strive for and what we should avoid in our Krishna consciousness. Because as Prabhupada points out, all these demons, they were also Krishna conscious. Like Kamsa, he was so Krishna conscious, he was thinking of Krishna 24 hours a day. Unfortunately, it was not anukul, it was not auspicious. His meditation was pratical, it was inauspicious. He was driven by fear and anger. And here, looking at the example of Mother Yaśoda's dealing with Krishna, we can learn what does it mean to be engaged in anukula bhakti, in favorable devotional service. This is the very first item of Sharanagati. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyatiti vishvaso gutpritve varanam tata atmanikshapa karpanye sadvida sharanangata. That there are 6, if we ever wonder how do we surrender unto Krishna, so acharyas are, and actually Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, they give very clear process of surrendering to Krishna. And so the first and foremost item is anukulyasya sankalpa, accepting everything which is favorable to Krishna consciousness. Then pratikulyasya varjanam, rejecting everything which is unfavorable, like the beginning of our devotional service. We accept something favorable, following four regulative principles, and we reject, we're accepting favorable, we chant Hare Krishna, and we reject unfavorable, which is breaking regulative principles, engaging in sinful activities. And from there, after establishing ourselves, we can continue our spiritual development. Rakshishyatiti vishvaso gotpritve varanam tata. We can accept Krishna as our protector and maintainer, and atmanikshepa, fully surrender ourselves to Krishna, and karpanya, develop genuine humility. And we can see amazing example of Mother Yaśoda, who is, as Prabhupada points out, the model mother, the original mother, mother of the Supreme Lord, and therefore her love is also original, and it is the best. Sometimes we may think, oh, Radharani's love is the best, but actually Prabhupada points out a very interesting thing. He says, if anyone thinks that Mother Yaśoda's love towards Krishna is in any way, shape or form inferior to Radharani's love towards Krishna, such a person is an offender, aparadhi, because both of their love is absolutely perfect, but it's just different rasa. And Vatsalya rasa is really important for us, because actually we do act within the Vatsalya rasa, because Prabhupada was always bringing things to the practical platform. And so we may think, how does Vatsalya rasa manifests in my sadhana bhakti? Any manifestation of Vatsalya rasa in sadhana bhakti? Any process? Anyone can help us to understand what's the manifestation of Vatsalya rasa in sadhana bhakti? Yes, deity worship, because deities in one sense are giving themselves into the hands of their devotees. They become completely dependent on their devotees, even though they could do everything, and they do everything themselves, but the pastime. And it's really amazing that by Prabhupada's mercy and by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the other acharyas, even now, in our conditioned state, we can have this personal relationship with the Supreme Lord. And so this is one way how we can develop that relationship, by serving the deities. And so Mother Yaśoda is here showing an example how to serve the original deity, how to personally look after Krishna. And so this is really amazing pastime. Everything is so amazing about this pastime. Even the very beginning, maybe we can say a few words about how it all started, where it all started. That Mother Yaśoda is churning the butter herself, because all her other servants are engaged. And of course she is the queen of Vrindavan, and she has so many maid servants, and she could easily, if she wanted to, she could easily tell any of those maid servants just to stop doing whatever they do and focus on churning, do the this is the priority now, to churn the butter. But she doesn't do that. Instead, she is doing the service herself, and it's very interesting for us because Mother Yaśodā is thinking, why Krishna, even though he has the best quality of milk products, butter, in his own house, why is he going to other people's houses and stealing the butter? This is very strange. And so the only conclusion she can come up with is that maybe her servants are not doing the right job in churning the butter. So she decides, let me churn the butter personally. And so this is a very well known fact. If you want to ensure the quality service, best thing is to do it yourself. And so, of course, sometimes we cannot afford doing that. That delegation is a very important part in Krishna consciousness. But there is a risk. Like Srila Prabhupada, when he was leaving Sydney temple, and he just gave few devotees second initiations, and they were completely untrained. And so, upon leaving the deities, really, really beautiful deities, Radha Gopinath, and he prayed to them, my dear Lord, please forgive me. I'm leaving you in the hands of Mlechas and Yavanas, so you please teach them how to serve you properly. And that principle which he points out in here, that the Lord through the heart is giving the devotees intelligence, that Srila Prabhupada actually counted on that the Lord himself would teach the devotees how to serve him, and then he left. And yes, that worship is going on for so many years. They just celebrated 40 years anniversary, and soon they are going to celebrate 45 years of unbroken service to Radha Gopinath. And so, but still, we can see that Srila Prabhupada was personally engaged in deity worship. He was personally engaged in cooking, and whenever he had an opportunity, very interesting example. Tamal Krishna Maharaj mentioned that one time Srila Prabhupada made samosas, kachoris actually, and he gave one kachori to Tamal Krishna Maharaj to try, and he tried, and he was just stunned. He said, wow, this is amazing kachori. How it is possible to prepare such a kachori? You know, it's like you take one bite of prasadam, then you have full transformation of consciousness. You become enlightened. You emanate light straight away. And he was asking Srila Prabhupada, how this is possible? That how can you, what's the secret behind preparing this kind of kachoris? And Srila Prabhupada just smiled and he said, well, this is personal recipe of Mother Yaśodā. I mean, Srila Prabhupada knew the recipes, mother, is there any cookbook? We have Yamuna's recipes, but we don't really have Yashoda's recipes. So, but Srila Prabhupada knew. It's a little bit glimpse into who Srila Prabhupada was, that he was not just a sadhaka. He was eternal resident of the spiritual world who had direct contact with the eternal associates of the Lord, so he could learn directly from them. And so Mother Yaśoda's service to Krishna is perfect, because she imbues that service with your pure love. And as we know, Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana. He accepts the devotion rather than the service itself. And Mother Yaśodā is churning the butter, and while doing that, she's singing the song glorifying Krishna. And as Amala Bhakta Maharaj pointed out very nicely, this is a tradition in our movement. And we can see that all the acharyas, they follow that tradition. We have so many amazing songs glorifying the Supreme Lord, bhajans. And Srila Prabhupada spent so much time and energy introducing devotees to the songs of Vaishnava acharyas, telling them that these songs are equal to Vedas, Vedic literatures, because actually this is the best part of Vedic literature, we can say, because they help us to understand the meaning of the holy name, help us to chant the holy name in full consciousness with full devotion. And Srila Prabhupada enjoyed singing those songs himself so much, and he wanted the devotees to sing those songs. Unfortunately, these days it kind of becomes fashion just to kind of, forget about the songs of the acharyas and just chant Hare Krishna only, forgetting those songs. But there is a good reason why Srila Prabhupada wanted us to sing those songs, because these songs, they help us to understand the meaning of the holy name. They help us to enter into the world of the Hare Krishna mantra, rather than just surface the chanting, have the surface contact with it. Deepen our devotion. As example of the ocean is given, if we are on the surface of the ocean, we can be tossed about by the waves of the ocean. But the deeper we go into the ocean, the more calm and peaceful and tranquil it is. And so that's why we want to enter very deeply into the ocean of Bhakti Rasa, into the ocean of devotion, as Prabhupada presented that in Nectar of Devotion. And so Mother Yaśoda is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, and that's why she is glorifying Krishna, singing about his wonderful pastimes and churning the butter. And is described that her bangles are tinkling by touching each other. And if anyone saw how the butter is churned with the road, especially if it's a like large pot, there is a sound, kind of low frequency sound produced, boom, 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 boom. And so it's like mridanga sound, and the high tone tinkling of the bangles there resembling kartals. So there is a kirtan going on. Mother Yaśoda is churning the butter and doing all this kirtan, original kirtan for Krishna. And of course, Krishna, even though he slept in the other room, he wakes up and he wants to see what's going on, because he is so attracted by the devotion of Mother Yaśoda. And he comes out, and Mother Yaśoda is just fully meditating on pleasing Krishna by feeding him, and immediately in response to her desire, Krishna becomes hungry. Actually, Krishna is self-satisfied, but he is always hungry for the love of his devotees. And then he comes and he stops his mother from churning the butter, and he wants her breast milk. And Mother Yaśoda immediately stops churning the butter, and she takes Krishna on her lap, as described in here, and she starts feeding Krishna with her breast milk. And she gazes at Krishna's lotus face with great love and affection. And so she's really enjoying that. And of course, Krishna is enjoying that as well, exchange. But then the unexpected is happening, that the milk, which is boiling on the stove, begins to boil over. And then, first of all, why so many things are going on at the same time? Because, Mother Yaśoda is just using the opportunity to do
any of the household work while Krishna is asleep, because when Krishna is up, he's just taking all her attention. She can't do anything. And so it's a rare chance for her to do so many things for Krishna while he's asleep, to prepare for his services. And now Krishna again is demanding her full attention, but she cannot give him full attention because the milk is boiling over. And then she decides to put Krishna down to attend the milk, which is very practical, of course. We can understand. But then it's important that Krishna is not just a baby, he is the Supreme Lord, and he is really powerful. And before this pastime happened, Krishna already, even though he's like very tender baby, he already killed few demons, and two demons specifically described whom Krishna killed are Putana and Trinavarta. And Putana, she came and she also offered Krishna her breast milk, and she was determined to poison Krishna along with feeding him the breast milk. And she was really, really powerful. We don't necessarily get this full picture how powerful these demons were just from the Bhagavatam description, because Shukadeva Goswami is just mentioning briefly about them. But if we read other sources, for example, Garga Samhita, we can learn that these demons were so powerful that even demigods were fearful of them. That's why after each demon killed by Krishna, they shower flowers and they have huge kirtan, because for them it's like life and death situation. They are so anxious. Probably they are more anxious, sitting on the edges of their seats when Krishna is fighting with the demons than, the fans of some American football teams, anxious to see their team win. Because for them, if Krishna will not be able to kill the demon, then, demon will give all these demigods such a hard time again. And so when Krishna is killing that demon, they're showering flowers and everything. And it's very interesting that even though Putana was so powerful that even demigods were afraid of her, and she grabbed Krishna and she wanted to kill him. But then when Krishna started sucking out her life air, Putana wanted to throw Krishna away. But it's very interesting that with all her might, with all her material powers, supernatural powers also, she just couldn't separate Krishna from her breast. And she only could scream, "Baby, please leave me, please leave me." She became somewhat humble at the end. And then she died. And same thing happened with Trinavarta. Trinavarta also grabbed Krishna, but when Krishna became so heavy that Trinavarta realized he is falling down, he tried to throw Krishna off. And Krishna never allowed that to happen. And so Trinavarta had to get smashed against the ground, actually. Garga Samhita describes that he went 800 miles above the surface of the earth together with Krishna. Of course, his purpose was to kill Krishna by throwing him down to the ground, and you don't really require 800 miles to go up to, kill the little baby. But the reason he actually went so high was because Krishna was enjoying the ride, not just the ride, but the flight. He was like thinking, "Whoa, God, it's like I have this, private jet plane here." And it's so funny how small my village is from such a height. Like when Srila Prabhupada took the very first flight in his life, I believe it was the flight from New York to San Francisco, and he never had this experience, and I believe Karandar was with him, his secretary, and Srila Prabhupada positioned himself next to the window, and he was observing what was happening when the plane was taking off, and when in great excitement he looked at his secretary and he said, "Just see how small everything looks from this height." And then immediately he added, "And now just imagine how it all looks from Krishna's standpoint." So from Krishna's standpoint, whatever is happening in the material world is actually much less than insignificant. It's just absolutely useless. Like Prabhupada said, the whole material world has to be put in a trash can. There is no need of it. And so Krishna was enjoying the flight, but then after they flew really high, and because Krishna was enjoying, because Srinavarta was connected with Krishna, he completely forgot about his purposes, and he was going higher and higher. But then Krishna looked down and he saw that not just his village, not just his country, not just the continent, but the earth itself becomes like a tiny little thing down there. He decided, okay, enough of this flight, it's time to return home. And then he started getting heavy, and so he forced Srinavarta to go down, but the Srinavarta tried so hard to get rid of Krishna, he just couldn't. And so he went down, and he had very, talking about crash landing, I mean, he landed not just on the ground, but he actually landed on the rock. And so we can understand, there is a picture of Srinavarta like lying, but it's kind of, soft version. Actually, he was like shattered into pieces. There were like pieces of Srinavarta lying around, and but Krishna had a soft landing because he landed on the top of Srinavarta and he was still playing on his chest. And so the point is that all these demons, they had all these powers, they just couldn't get rid of Krishna because Krishna didn't want to leave them. Krishna had another plan. And here, when Mother Yaśodā is feeding Krishna, and then she's seeing, okay, the milk is boiling over, so I had to put Krishna down and I have to take care of the milk. Krishna is enjoying drinking her mother's breast milk, and he is determined. Actually, Krishna, as Acharya is described, he figured out, okay, she wants to put me down, that will not happen. She wouldn't be able to do that. I will not let her go. I'll continue sucking her breast. And so Krishna grabbed on Mother Yaśodā with all his power, with all his might, with his both hands and both feet, and he was determined, I will not let her go. And then Mother Yaśodā with ease just took Krishna, separated him and put him on the ground. And Krishna was shocked. What just happened? How she could do that? So we can understand how powerful Mother Yaśodā is. So this is the power of love. So in this material world, many times we are impressed with the heart powers, kind of masculine type of powers, because, this is what's impressing people. But the greatest power is the soft power, which is feminine power, and this is the power, the greatest power in the entire creation is the power of love. And the greatest love is pure love for the Supreme Lord, and we can see how powerful Mother Yaśodā is, and that has been manifested many, many times. That's why Srila Prabhupada said, what is this nonsense? Mayavadis, they want to become God. Devotee becomes greater than God. Devotee becomes so great that he can control the Supreme Lord. And so Mother Yaśodā is putting Krishna down, and of course Krishna is so angry that he failed. He lost that wrestling match to Mother Yaśodā. And how angry he is, Baladevi Vibhushan says, the milk on the stove is boiling and Krishna is boiling with anger at the same time. And Mother Yashoda just doesn't care about that. She's just attending the milk. And this is quite an important part also because Acharyas are describing that, of course we can understand that on many levels. One is that according to what Lord Shiva says, addressing his wife, he says, Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samacharam, that of all types of worship, of all types of services, the best one is worship or serving Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. But there is something higher than worshipping the Supreme Lord or serving the Supreme Lord, tadiyanam samacharam, that is serving or worshipping tadiya, whatever is connected to the Supreme Lord. As Prabhupada was saying, love me, love my dog. So naturally, there are many people with dogs around here, I've noticed, especially in this area for whatever reason. And so if we want to have good relationship with someone, but we mistreat that person's dog, that's not going to happen because they're so much attached to these associates of theirs. And so that's why this principle is universal. If we really want to please Krishna, we have to be mindful of everything and everyone connected to Krishna. And tadiya also includes devotees. And actually Acharyas are describing that this milk, which is overflowing and boiling over on the stove, because it's a spiritual world, and spiritual world means there are no things there. Everyone is a person, and that milk is also a person. And so while Mother Yashoda is churning the butter, then the milk is boiling on the stove, and milk is really happy, bubbling with ecstasy. Oh, I'll be very soon offered to Krishna. And then Krishna is entering the room, and he's making a lot of noise, attracting Mother Yashoda's attention, and milk becomes curious. Milk wants to take darshan of the Supreme Lord, and that's why milk comes up to the edge of the pot, because milk wants to see Krishna. And when the milk is seeing that Krishna is taking Mother Yashoda's breast milk, and of course Mother Yashoda's love is unlimited, and the milk in her breast has no limits, and Krishna's desire to enjoy her breast milk is also unlimited. And so the milk in the pot is thinking, that's it. Krishna will be only taking Mother Yashoda's breast milk, so I will have no service. I will not have an opportunity to be offered to Krishna, and that's why my life is wasted. Hari Hari Vipale Janame Gunayano. As Narottam Das Thakur says that my life is completely fruitless, and because this is how devotee thinks. If I cannot be useful in Krishna's service, there is no point of living. I better die than live without serving Krishna. And so this is what milk decides to do. Milk decides to commit suicide by jumping into the fire. And Mother Yashoda is seeing that the devotee is ready to die because he or she, whatever the case is so desperate. Then she's actually putting Krishna down, and she's running to the stove to kind of pacify the milk and tell the milk, don't worry, Krishna will get hungry very quickly, and so you'll have your opportunity to serve him as well. Which brings us to a very important point, that Mother Yaśodā is more concerned with serving Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's devotees, than Krishna himself. And it's very simple to understand that the most valuable asset we have in our movement, for example, is devotees. Because without the devotees, there is no chance to do any service. And that's why this is one of the most important lessons from these pastimes, that for the sake of serving Vaishnavas, we can even neglect serving Krishna. This is so important that that's why Srila Prabhupada mentions in Nectar of Devotion that if you serve the deities directly, if you do puja to your deities or even to the temple deities, and then a guest comes, and guest requires attention and service, then according to the etiquette, devotee actually has to put down serving the Lord. You know, he might be doing anything. He might be like bathing the Lord, feeding the Lord, but devotee has to put down the deity, attend the guest, attend the Vaishnava, please him, take care of him, and then resume his service. And this is what Mother Yaśodā exemplifies here, that serving Vaishnavas is serving than Krishna himself. Hare Krishna. Brigupati Prabhu. I felt that I'm getting a lot of blessing from Brigupati Prabhu because he's sitting so close.
Thank you. Very interesting class. And I'm a barometer. When it really gets interesting, I get questions. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's in that chapter where Lord Chaitanya is dancing at Rath Yatra, it describes how at one point his Leela Shakti, the Yogamaya energy, or the Leela Shakti energy takes over, and he's just dancing and, he's absorbed in ecstasy, loving Krishna, and his form expands into 7 forms. It appears in all the different kirtan parties, but it points out that he's not even kind of aware of that. It's being conducted by this Leela Shakti or Yogamaya, which I'm not sure if they're identical or... Yeah. Okay, sorry. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's in the chapter where Lord Chaitanya is dancing at Rath Yatra, it's described how at one point in his dancing, the Yogamaya or Leela Shakti potency takes over, and he expands into 7 forms, and he's seen by at least confidential devotees in all the different chanting parties, and the implication is that he's not even aware of that. So my question is this: is that what's going on? Because you were talking about how Krishna was trying his hardest to stay hold of Mother Yaśodā, and he couldn't. That he was overpowered by her love. I mean, in one sense, it doesn't make, how could that be? How could anybody be more powerful than Krishna? I'm just trying to understand a bit more about the internal dynamics. Is there something like, say, if a president, he delegates some responsibility to certain people to make certain arrangements, and then they make them, and then something happens, and when the actual time comes, he's not particularly happy maybe with some detail in the arrangements, but because he delegated responsibility to those people, he honors that. And, okay, well, I gave him the power to make those arrangements. So it's something like that Krishna kind of hands over the authority or the job to orchestrate the pastimes to this Yogamaya or Leela Shakti energy, and then that energy can understand that, well, Mother Yasoda's love for Krishna is so intense, it's so exalted, it's so incredible that, sorry Krishna, even though you're trying to hold on to Mother Yaśodā with all your might, no, she's going to be able to just put you down very easily. I mean, that's just a speculation. I'd like to understand if you're able to, something more about how it could possibly be that Mother Yaśodā was able to just easily put Krishna down, even though he was trying with all his strength, as you said. I guess you got that from the Garga Samhita or some other, Vaishnava Acharya literature like that, with all his might. Because it doesn't make sense in one way.
Yes.
Could you give us some further insight into that?
Yeah, it's happening because Krishna is fully absorbed in his mood as a little baby, and he doesn't want to think of himself as the Supreme Lord with Mother Yaśoda, and so he actually exhibits full strength, but only baby strength with Mother Yaśoda, whereas with those demons, he actually is aware of his godhood, aware of his supreme position, and so from that standpoint, he is using his supreme powers to crash these demons down, which of course doesn't take much.
So it's full baby strength.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, oh my God, looks like voting in here. Maybe we can give senior Vaishnavas first opportunity, especially those who are in charge of this very important aspect of service, deity service.
Yes, Maharaj, you mentioned how we should serve the devotees and how the pujari is worshiping the deity and there's a guest, or a devotee comes, they should take care of them. So, how do we practically do this? If, let's say, if a pujari is offering artik and he's in the middle of the artik, should he stop the artik and take care of the guest and then continue the artik after that, or what?
Of course, it's an emergency situation, and from what I understand, when Srila Prabhupada speaks about stopping the serving the deity, it is mostly referring to the personal deity, like at home, and then the guest comes. But I suppose there could be extreme situations when some Vaishnava requires like immediate help or attention, and then we do the arati, and then I suppose even in that circumstances that pujari should stop the arati and take care of the devotee. That there could be circumstances like that. Yeah, that Bhrigupati Prabhu says, for example, if spiritual master comes and then he requires a service, then naturally devotee stops serving the deity to serve spiritual master. Thank you, that's a very good example. Maharaj.
Just one question, Prabhuji. Thank you for the nice class.
Thank you for your blessings.
My question is this, is that it is pretty common knowledge to all of us that in the spiritual world, everything is conscious. The flowers are conscious, the milk is conscious, the grass is conscious, just as if they were a person. There's actually no difference because everything is spiritualized and is in relation to Krishna. But I have never heard that analogy used for this world, where milk has become conscious and is having a conscious, thoughtful relationship with Krishna. And I would appreciate if you could kind of give me the reference for which you have brought this. Is this your own idea or your own belief, or is this something that came from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or some of our other great acharyas? I'm not trying to put down what you're saying.
Sure.
I'm just asking so that you can give us some authoritative, factual information so that we can use that also. I would hesitate to use that only because my knowledge is, as I'm saying, is limited.
Sure.
But perhaps you can extend it. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Maharaj. Yes, well, my authority is Dinabandhu Prabhu. I heard that from him. And
from who?
Dinabandhu Prabhu. And so I believe he's using authoritative sources.
Yeah, but what is his source?
We have to ask him.
No, you should ask him.
Okay.
And then tell us so that I ask you the question and you can have that. I hear this many times, Maharaj. Somebody says, well, my Guru Maharaj said this, or they say that my Guru Maharaj heard it from Srila Prabhupada. And then I say, well, wait a minute, where did Srila Prabhupada get it? If your Guru, in other words, what I'm saying, if we simply say, I heard this in a lecture, and I don't know the source of that, well, then I hesitate. I'm not saying it's incorrect. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's bogus, but I would hesitate to bring it into a class until I actually had the source, because then it would be authoritative, it would be factual, I would have some foundational reason for saying that. And it may be all true, and that's not my point. My point is this whole Bhagavatam class, we try to base it all on facts that we can all verify. And Prabhupada was always quoting different verses from the scriptures. He would be quoting different authorities to back up everything he said.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
That's a good point, yeah. We have to find out the source, which acharya says that. Thank you. All right, so I think we should stop here because we are over time. So I'm sorry for the inconveniences. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande.